Today, I want to talk about the Civic Trust Awards, a competition that, that the trustees entered the bridge into in 2019. You can see on the old toll houses, and they were replaced with state-of-the-art toll houses on each side, as they were a bit 1950s and somewhat tired. Now, the Civic Trust Awards is very prestigious, and it's run by the Civic Trust. It's the oldest in Europe as a scheme. 7,000 projects they've dealt with since 1959. And each year, schemes are submitted and are appraised by a visit from a town planner, an architect, and a local assessor. In this way, a new project can be judged for the architectural quality, design, sustainability, accessibility for less able people, and so on. And there's other ratings. There's cultural, social, economic, and environmental benefits to the local community. And these last ones are evaluated by a local assessor. The architect is always chosen as someone from out of the area, but the local assessor needs to know the local scene and how the new building relates to it. For 10 years, I've been the local community assessor for the Bristol area, and I've also checked out some projects in Gloucestershire and Wiltshire. The Civic Trust standards are very, very high, and in all the projects I've evaluated, which is about 4 in a day per year, very few have actually won awards or commendations. This is how it works. We devote a day to viewing the buildings in the list we've been given. Then we discuss their merits among ourselves, and then we make recommendations by writing reports to an international judging panel. The trustees picked Purcell, a prestigious architectural studio. They're well practiced in working in and alongside listed buildings. They worked on stuff at Durham Cathedral and so on. They're highly ranked globally. So they designed the toll houses and submitted the scheme for the 2020 awards. So what did I say about them in my report? Well, they're modest little structures doing an essential job 24/7, 52. So I reckon the best approach would be to big up the bridge initially. I could write all sorts of flannel about it. I've done 260 tours in the last 4 years on it, so I've got plenty to say about it. And then describe how the toll houses relate to such an emblematic structure. Now, I spent some time on this. I didn't hold back. It's purple prose, all right? And I enlisted help from architectural commentators and even Brunel to support our case. So here we go then, right? This is my report. Clifton Suspension Bridge Toll Houses Community Assessors Report. Let's consider the significance of the structure that the toll houses serve for a moment. The Clifton Suspension Bridge. It spans the Avon Gorge and River Avon, the most spectacular entrance to an inland port in the world. It is an icon of the city of Bristol. Both ITN and BBC local news bulletins open every evening with pictures of it as background. Of all the world's early suspension bridges, it is probably the one mostly still in its original state. Telford's Menai Bridge precedes it, but it has been substantially rebuilt over the years. It's difficult for outsiders to envisage the significance of the Clifton Suspension Bridge in the psyche of locals. The bridge and Brunel are held in great affection by Bristolians and those who have made their home here. More than 20 Bristol-based companies have Brunel in their name, in their company name. On New Year's Eve, folks gather on Observatory Hill above the bridge to see in the new year. Newly married couples pose on Clifton Green for their wedding photographs, insisting that the bridge is an equal partner in their union. They want the pure, breathtaking geometry of the bridge to share in their celebration. The majestic towers and swooping chains, the delicate hangars and the curving deck, with the river 75 meters below, a great fusion of engineering and nature. But what exactly is the bridge's appeal? Undoubtedly, it must be its massive dignity and strength, and its reassuring permanence, which is perhaps why it features in those wedding photographs. But as much as anything, it is a stark transition from city to countryside. I'm calling upon some distinguished people to help on this. So first of all, what have we got here? Brunel has got something to say about it. So I checked out some of the books I have on Brunel. There they are. And he refers to the bridge. He says, I was struck with the grandeur of the idea and the splendid effect which might be produced by a bridge of this construction, were it made to harmonize with scenery so peculiarly suited to such a work of art. A work of art thrown across such grand and imposing scenery should be as simple and unobtrusive as possible. Now, Mike Jenner, who used to have a television program on architecture years ago, he died a few years ago, really good book, Bristol's 100 Best Buildings. Mike Jenner, he said, it is an extraordinary, beautiful thing, and in that setting, one of the great sights of England. The bridge we have hanging with effortless grace above the gorge is the living and breathing answer to those who feared the landscape would simply be subjugated to a piece of engineering. As engineering, it is visibly beyond praise. And the architectural genius of the bridge lies in simply letting the engineering have its own way. And then Mike Jenner worked with two other distinguished architectural critics. This is the definitive book on Bristol's architecture. And in it, the bridge is described as, this pylon design is the perfect complement to the great sweep of the chains across the gorge. One feels not only a visual, but also a structural harmony between the catenary. The catenary is the curve of the chains, which is the shape it must be from unmanipulated principles of statics, and these great sheer towers, so evidently spare of any false glamour or architecture added on, whose design now seems the only possible one for its site and job. That's a little swipe at Brunel and his lions idea and the panels, if you think back. And then finally, German Protestant Nikolaus Pevsner. He has a lot to say about British architecture all across the counties of England. This is North Somerset and Bristol. He gets quite excited, which is unusual for him, but he says, pure functional energy swinging out in a glorious curve to conquer the 700 feet between the two banks of the deep valley. The Clifton Bridge might also claim the title of being the most beautiful of early English suspension bridges. That is largely due to the well-chosen design of the stone pylons. The entasis, that's that sort of slight convex curve on the sides, like they have on the Parthenon's pillars, is extremely sensitively calculated. And the parabolic opening above the square-headed one for the traffic is again a very happy motif. The vertical cables are wonderfully light, and so the job of supporting the carriageway is done not only with daring, but also with grace. So it's back to me in the report. We're still on the report, and you'll see alongside these are the brand new ones, which were toll houses which were put in for the award. Quite a commission for the architects charged with designing new toll houses then. The buildings need to do their job while acknowledging the bridge and pay due deference to it. They can't upstage it, and they can't extend their footprint. They must conform to the scale of the original and subsequent toll houses. And the structures need to accommodate 21st century technology without revealing it unduly. Clearly, wood panelling as a cladding material would not do. The gorge is craggy rock. The bridge is stone and wrought iron. No place for wood then. What are required are sturdy, no-nonsense structures in slight awe of the 85 feet tall towers, but making their own modest statement and contribution. Their size and understatement has to pay respectful deference to the towers. Bristol folk have high expectations in bridge matters. While construction was underway, they would stop, watch the work being done, and read the explanatory panels. The River Avon is a county boundary, and thus the bridge links Bristol with North Somerset. Both authorities had input at early stages, together with two long-established auspicious bodies, the Leeward Society and CHIS, the Clifton and Hotwells Improvement Society. Each representing residents on different sides of the gorge. And so, have all these challenges been met? Undoubtedly, yes. The toll houses' angled sides match the towers in taste. There is purity about their form, with their uncluttered, simple lines, and they are not festooned with gratuitous signage. The stonework is beautiful and stands up to close inspection, with its precise 8mm mortar joints. The zinc roofs of the Clifton toll houses can be seen from above on nearby footpaths and form a well-considered 5th elevation. Bridge attendants speak with pride of their new home, and the glazed elevation offers a markedly improved interface with members of the public. The toll houses form the perfect accompaniment to Brunel's noble towers. Bristol approves. On the tour, I made sure that the architect saw the dramatic full-on view of the towers. That's from the path above the little toilet block. You see one tower stacked directly behind the other, and in the foreground, like a little condiment set, are our new toll houses, paying, as you can see, due deference, but fitting in with that sort of subtly sloping walls and so on. Now, it is the architect that has the final decision. There are 3: no recommendation at all, highly commended, or an award. So how did we do? Well, we were selected as regional finalists in the Southwest region, but sad to say, we didn't get an award. In fact, the only project in the entire Southwest which did was Cresson Kernow, an archive and local studies centre in a derelict Redruth brewery. But there's an ironic twist here. It was designed by Purcell. So if Purcell hadn't been commissioned for the Cornish scheme, then we would have probably scooped an award. But at least we tried.